Bloodborne. The Bloodborne universe is a twisted nightmare where science and religion have merged into something horrifying. It takes place in the ancient city of Yharnam, a place renowned for its miraculous blood-based healing. However, this so-called healing church hides a terrible truth. Its blood treatments have led to a monstrous plague, turning people into beasts and driving the city into madness. The source of Yharnam's horror lies beneath the surface. Long before the healing church, an ancient civilization known as the Pthumerians uncovered something they were never meant to find: eldritch beings called the Great Ones. These cosmic entities exist beyond human understanding. The Healing Church, obsessed with ascension, sought to commune with these beings, leading to forbidden experiments that only deepened the nightmare. The player, a hunter, is drawn into this horrific world, forced to fight through the streets of Yharnam and uncover the truth behind the plague, the Great Ones, and the nature of the nightmare itself. Doom. The Doom universe is a vision of hell unleashed, where humanity's thirst for power has opened the gates to something it was never meant to control. It begins on Mars, where the Union Aerospace Corporation, driven by greed and ambition, discovered a way to harness energy from hell. They called it Argent Energy, a limitless power source that could change the fate of humanity. But their experiments were reckless, and the cost of their ambition was catastrophic. The portals they opened could not be closed, and the forces of hell poured through, consuming everything in their path. The demons are more than just monsters. They are the embodiment of destruction, chaos given form, an ancient force that has conquered countless worlds before. But Hell's war met resistance in the form of one being, the Doomslayer, a warrior of pure rage and destruction. He is neither hero nor savior, only an unstoppable force of vengeance, feared even by the demons themselves. Sealed away by hell for his relentless slaughter, he has returned to do what he does best: rip and tear until nothing remains. And for him, this war is personal. The demons took everything, even the smallest, purest thing in his life, his pet rabbit, Daisy. In their arrogance, they thought killing her would break him. Instead, it sealed their fate. If there was ever a chance of mercy, it died with her. The Berserk. The Berserk is a world of endless suffering, where fate is a cruel, unbreakable chain, and the strong devour the weak without remorse. It is a world ruled by war, betrayal, and forces far beyond human comprehension, where gods are not saviors, but monstrous beings that see humanity as nothing more than pawns in their grand design. At the heart of this nightmare is Guts, a man who has known nothing but battle since the day he was born. A lone warrior marked by the brand of sacrifice, he is hunted relentlessly by demonic entities known as the Apostles, beings who traded their humanity for power, serving the dark gods known as the God Hand. They are rulers of destiny, shaping the world through bloodshed, ensuring that the cycle of pain and tragedy never ends. Those who seek power must be willing to pay the ultimate price. Even Griffith, once a man of vision and charisma, abandoned his humanity, sacrificing his closest friends to become Femto, one of the God Hand. The dream he pursued, the kingdom he longed to build, came at the cost of the very people who believed in him. But in this world of despair, Guts fights on. With the Dragon Slayer on his back and a lifetime of scars, he is a man who should have died 100 times over. Yet, despite the overwhelming forces against him, despite the gods themselves deciding his fate, he refuses to kneel. His war is not just against demons and monsters. It is against fate itself, against a world that is already... The Fall of Olympus. The Fall of Olympus is one of the most catastrophic events in the God of War universe, marking the end of the Greek pantheon. It all begins with this guy, Kratos, who was once a mortal Spartan, but, with the help of the Greek gods, gained the power to kill Ares and become the new god of war. Zeus, fearing that Kratos would overthrow him just as he had once overthrown Kronos, betrays and kills him. This act of paranoia ignites Kratos' unrelenting quest for vengeance. He had already been manipulated by the gods before, like when Ares tricked him into killing his own family. By the events of God of War 3, Kratos finally decides to lock in and give it his all to kill the gods of Greece, and anyone standing in his way, for that matter. Poseidon is the first god to fall, and with his death, the oceans flood the Greek world, drowning countless innocents. Hades is slain in his own realm, unleashing souls from the underworld into the mortal world. Helios is brutally killed, if you know you know, tearing the sun from the sky and shrouding the land in chaos. Hermes is cut down, and with him goes the world's safeguard against plague and pestilence. Each god's death shatters the balance of the natural order they embodied. Finally, Kratos confronts Zeus, his father, in a climactic battle that tears Olympus itself apart. The king of the gods is killed, but so is the very structure of divine authority. Without the Olympians to govern their domains, the world collapses into chaos, and humanity is left in a broken, dying world. Maybe if Zeus didn't avoid the father-son talk with Kratos, everything would have been different. Maybe.
Zeus, your son has returned! I bring the destruction!
Third Impact. The third impact from Neon Genesis, Evangelion, is one of the most catastrophic and disturbing events in all of fiction. For years, both Zayla and Gendo Ikari had been working toward human instrumentality, the forced evolution of mankind into a single, united consciousness. But their goals weren't the same. Zayla wanted a way to erase individuality and suffering. Gendo, on the other hand, wanted to use instrumentality to reunite with his late wife, Yui. His son, 14-year-old Shinji Ikari, was manipulated by almost everyone around him from the start, and was essentially forced to pilot Unit 01, a biomechanical weapon capable of fighting back against the Angels. The true trigger was Rei Ayanami. Gendo tried to make her the vessel for his plan, implanting Adam's embryo into her body and bringing her before Lilith, the Colossal being crucified deep beneath Nerve headquarters. But Rei rejected him and instead merged with Lilith on her own terms, creating the godlike entity Lilith Rei, whose presence initiated the third impact. Instantly, humanity began dissolving into LCL, the orange primordial liquid that has always symbolized the essence of life. In a way, humans were turned into one giant cosmic Fanta, with all consciousness merging into a single entity. Shinji Ikari, who wasn't affected by third impact because he was inside Unit 01, was left with a choice. Either let humanity remain as a collective without pain or suffering, but also without individuality, or restore the world to the way it was before. Silent Hill. The Silent Hill universe is one of the darkest and most psychologically disturbing in fiction. It revolves around the mysterious town of Silent Hill, a fog-covered, abandoned place that shifts between reality and nightmarish dimensions. What makes Silent Hill unique is that it manifests the deepest fears, regrets, and traumas of those who enter it, twisting the town into a personal hell for each individual. The town is haunted by grotesque monsters, many of which symbolize the guilt and suffering of the people trapped there. Some of the most iconic creatures, like Pyramid Head, are physical representations of torment and punishment. The line between the real and the supernatural is unclear. Some see Silent Hill as a cursed place, while others believe it's a kind of purgatory where people are forced to confront their sins. Silent Hill is also home to the Order, a fanatical cult that worships an ancient god and carries out disturbing rituals in an attempt to bring their deity into the world. The most terrifying thing about Silent Hill isn't just the monsters, it's the psychological horror. Those who enter often find themselves trapped in a cycle of suffering, reliving their worst nightmares over and over. Whether it's through guilt, grief, or fear, the town has a way of breaking people, and very few ever leave unchanged. The Witcher. The Witcher universe is a dark, medieval world filled with monsters, magic, and constant conflict. It's a land torn apart by war and political intrigue, where kingdoms battle for power and supernatural creatures roam freely. At the center of this world are Witchers, mutated, highly trained monster hunters like Geralt of Rivia, who hunt deadly creatures that threaten humanity. Magic is a powerful yet dangerous force, often wielded by sorcerers who manipulate political events and kingdoms. The northern kingdoms are locked in near constant war with the Nilfgaardian Empire, and the people suffer under oppression, betrayal, and corruption. The Church of the Eternal Fire and other institutions also impose strict control, often adding to the world's chaos. The universe is further complicated by ancient dark forces like the Wild Hunt, a group of spectral riders that threaten not just individuals but the entire world. They represent an existential threat that looms over everything. The average peasant lives in constant fear of monsters, bandits, and war. While Witchers may hunt the beasts that threaten villages, the peasants are left to fend for themselves most of the time. A peasant's life is filled with hard labor, poverty, and struggle, with little hope of escape or any improvement. The Order 66. Order 66 is one of the darkest, most shocking events in the Star Wars universe. It begins during the final days of the Clone Wars. The galaxy is in a conflict, with the Jedi leading the Grand Army of the Republic against the Separatists, but hidden within the ranks of the clone army is a secret, pre-programmed directive, Order 66, which is basically an order for all Jedi to be executed by their own soldiers. The Jedi High Council attempted to arrest Palpatine because they found out he was Darth Sidious. Palpatine used this failed attempt to paint the Jedi as traitors to the Republic, and then issued the command to execute Order 66. And so it begins. Obi-Wan Kenobi barely survives an ambush on Utapau, where his battalion opens fire without warning. Yoda faces assassination attempts on Coruscant but manages to escape. Ki-Adi-Mundi is surrounded and gunned down on Magito by his own troops, and Plo Koon's starfighter is shot down mid-battle by the clones who fought alongside him for years. Palpatine pulls off the ultimate political speedrun by using the massacre he started to declare himself Emperor, transforming the Republic into the Galactic Empire, and the clone army becomes loyal only to Palpatine.
Execute Order 66.